to Green Beret, Matthew LIVELSBERGER. Allegedly, he sent an email to someone, a friend, and they're considering it a manifesto. You're entitled to your opinion. If it's a manifesto, his thoughts. I don't get information that it's him bringing forward any. Sorry about that. Hold on one second, everybody. I'm getting my feedback. I didn't hear that he was making any threats in the email, so that's why I put alleged manifesto in the title. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $Big Angie 129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are always welcome during the live stream. We're going to bring you some information pertaining to Shamsuddin Jabbar, information, updates pertaining to that case out of New Orleans and what I've gathered this morning. Thank you for your time. Happy New Year, everyone.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kevin McMahill. I'm the sheriff of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. Over the last couple of days, since the bombing and death of the individual inside of the Tesla at Trump Towers, had a number of priorities that we've been trying to accomplish over those days. The first one of those priorities was to confirm that there's no further threat. I think we've completed that. The second was to positively identify the suspect. We've also done that today. I can confirm that that is Matthew LIVELSBERGER. We also wanted to confirm that there were no other actors involved in this incident. I believe we've done that. You'll hear much more about that as we move forward today. Conducted this attack. Now, before we go on, I want to just address a couple of things before we get too far along here. I want you to know that we're very well aware of a podcast that's going around today and the contents of the letter in that podcast. And I just want you to understand that since we've been conducting these press conferences, I have only given you information that we have verified and deemed to be factually accurate. We've been aware of that document for a while now, and we still have not completely gone all the way through that and verified that entirely. We are in one of the two telephones and one laptop. So one telephone and one laptop that we still have not been able to get into. There is one cell phone that we are getting into, and I can tell you that we are barely scratching the surface and almost hourly receiving additional information requiring substantial investigative effort on the part of this joint investigation between ourselves, the FBI, and the ATF. And so, again, while I understand all of that is out there, I believe it is our responsibility to give you what we know to be a fact, and that is what I will continue to do as we move forward. A couple of questions came up in regards to the positive identification of the suspect in the vehicle. I want to give you a couple of photographs as to what it was that we had some conversation around, because there's some tattoo comparisons that we needed to do. And in those tattoo comparisons, in this particular photograph, you can see a tiger tattoo, and there's a secondary tattoo on the stomach that the wife had told us about. You can see that some of it is burnt, some of it is not burnt, and while the body was still in the vehicle, we were unable to identify those specific tattoos until we were able to remove some of it. Secondarily to that, there's also a surveillance photograph that we obtained of our subject in Colorado wearing that very distinctive brown jacket. You'll see that a little bit later here in some of the photographs that one of the assistant sheriffs is going to talk to you about. There's also a lot of conversation that I hear out there about the fact that the identifications, the credit cards, and the number of things that I provided to you previously did not show up as burnt in the explosion in the vehicle. And so I did think it was important for me to address a couple of those issues so you understand where we're at. That's a photograph of the wallet. It's a leather wallet, clearly pretty well. However, that wallet was found in the back seat under some debris in the vehicle, and it contained, you'll see in this photograph, the credit cards, so a photograph, and a number of other pieces of identifying information. The military identification that I initially told you about was also located within inches of the wallet. And you'll see stuff does have some burn damage on it. The passport that I described to all of you was found in the back, in the bed of the truck under debris as well, and you'll see a photograph of that in there. I also had mentioned to you that we were going to be doing dental records to identify the subject in the vehicle. The Department of Defense provided those dental records to us. We then forwarded them to the coroner, and the coroner also provided a positive identification for us. Finally, we had also requested DNA from the family, which was provided to us, and it matched to our suspect. We then, of course, had now confirmed fully his identity to you. There has been, again, a tremendous amount of investigative effort that has been conducted now, and I'm going to introduce to you Assistant Sheriff Dory Corin to go over some of the extensive investigation that has occurred. Dory?
This is how to get in shape fast. If you want to draw.
Brief intermission. One laptop, one phone they've gotten into, one phone they can't get into. Why not? Take the polls on my community page pertaining to the allegations against the military of drones, the unaliving of men, women and children in the Afghanistan strike, Chinese spying on us from the U.S. East Coast. Do you believe those allegations he has made against the United States government? Was he paranoid, delusional, mentally ill, unstable, schizophrenic? I hear a girlfriend that said that he was depressed, would say to himself, what's the truth? And why did he commit this crime at the Trump Hotel? Family says he was a Republican and a fan of Donald Trump. So why there? Was it just to make a statement? Naturally, people are going to assume different things. So if you're trying to make a certain type of statement, you may not be getting the message across. And also the guy who got the email, why didn't he alert someone if he even thought that perhaps this man was going to hurt himself or do something, or did he not think he was going to do something? He just assumed he was going to travel somewhere, but indeed he was going to travel to Las Vegas to commit this act.
I oversee our Homeland Security and Investigative Services Group, which includes our counterterrorism unit that's been working around the clock on this investigation. I just want to briefly share a few updates on some key areas to include the operational activity that led up to this incident, a little bit of information on the post-blast investigation as we know it today, and then finally some of the information that we're discovering most recently about motives and plans to give you some insight on why this individual committed the act that he committed. To begin just with the operational activity, the sheriff yesterday talked about the route that the suspect took to get to Las Vegas. We used a lot of this information to be able to track down video surveillance footage around different locations, as well as financial records, as well as call data records, as well as looking at the Tesla charging stations to be able to determine exactly which route the individual took, but more importantly, that it was the individual that we've identified, as well as the only individual in the vehicle during the path that he took to Las Vegas. As you'll see here in this video here at one of the charging stations, this is just one example. You'll see the suspect here. He'll exit the vehicle. He'll walk around the vehicle at different times. At one point, you're going to see that he opens the door of the vehicle. He retrieves a coat. He puts that coat on, and you're going to see that parts to include the photo that the sheriff talked about just a few minutes ago. We use this video information as well as all I said.
How interesting. He has a nightlight on his head. Why? Was it that dark out there where he was? He needed a nightlight? Just asking. He has a nightlight strapped around his forehead. Very interesting.
What I said earlier about the financial records in terms of purchases being made with different credit cards, call data records, a video canvas at multiple locations, trying to use all of that to corroborate that the individual that we identified is the same individual that drove that Tesla during that route that we've identified to Las Vegas. In addition to that, we also talked about the phones that were recovered. There were 2 phones that we recovered from the vehicle. Both phones were damaged. We are still trying to access the data in one of the phones, but we have been fortunate in our team, which is second to none, has done a really good job accessing the data in one of the phones that was recovered. You can see the phone here in the vehicle. It's very burnt from the outside. You can see another image here. But we're able to take this phone and be able to extract the data using a variety of different tools. And in that, we've identified a variety of information, but one thing in particular is there was an application in there that the suspect used to take notes. In that application, one of the notes, surveillance log by the suspect, it appears to be more of a journal of activity. It dates for about 10 days leading up to the incident, from December 21st to December 31st of this past year. In that surveillance log, or as we would like to call it, a journal, because it's more of a diary of activity that he's conducting, we identify multiple locations that match what we have in the route. We identify that we've matched. So for example, him purchasing firearms, him purchasing camping equipment or other types of equipment that were used in this incident matched what our data showed in terms of the route and the video surveillance we were recovering along that route. Beyond the operational activity, I want to also get a little bit into the post-blast investigation. So make no mistake, this is a suicide vehicle-borne improvised explosive device, or short, it's a suicide VBID. We know also, as mentioned by the sheriff yesterday, there was a self-inflicted gunshot wound by the suspect. The coroner was very specific in their examination. It was an intraorbital gunshot wound, which essentially means that the suspect put the firearm in his mouth and discharged the gun, and ultimately the round came out to the left side of his head. In addition to that, in terms of our assessment of the post-blast to confirm that he's the only individual involved and the only individual in the vehicle, we did a variety of video and photo comparisons to match the clothing. So if you look here, for example, this is a video in Las Vegas, and you're going to see in a moment here where he parks the Tesla truck. He comes out, and you're going to see some descriptive clothing that matches some of the other video that we've recovered along the route. Please keep in mind, this is a very extensive investigation, so there's a lot of content for us to review and examine. We're just showing examples and samples as we get them. There's more information as we go through it. But in this video, you can see even the distinctive jacket that he is wearing in that vehicle. The other thing that's important is the sheriff mentioned yesterday that Tesla sent to us engineers to come to Las Vegas to help us extract data from the vehicle. Thanks to their support, we were able to extract an SDMI chip from the Tesla vehicle, and Tesla was able to confirm to us using the data from the vehicle that the vehicle was not in full self-driving mode at any time during this incident. Finally, the last category just to touch on is motive, which I know everyone is very eager to try to understand and be able to explain what happened. I'll reiterate what the sheriff said is we still have a large volume of data to go through and a lot of content to go through. As you know, with any one of our devices, there's thousands, if not millions, of videos and photos and documents and web history and all of those things that need to be analyzed. But with that, just as a preview for as we get information, we're trying to be as transparent as possible. There were a couple pieces of content we thought were important to share for now. One is in the note application, he seemed to have 2 letters. One letter in particular, as you can see here, this is an excerpt from that letter. He says, fellow service members, veterans, and all Americans, time to wake up. We are being led by weak and feckless leadership who only serve to enrich themselves. He goes on to explain a variety of other grievances and issues, some political, some personal, a variety of other things, which we will do our best to release very quickly here. But then there's a second letter where there's some more excerpts made after the fact in that notes application. And in there, you can read a couple of the excerpts. We are the United States of America, the best country, people to ever exist. But right now, we are terminally ill and headed towards collapse. This was not a terrorist attack. It was a wake-up call. Americans only pay attention to spectacles and violence. What better way to get my point across than with fireworks and explosives? Why did I personally do it now? I need to cleanse my mind of the brothers I've lost and relieve myself of the burden of the lives I took. I'd like to just also expand on that and understand that these are just excerpts. In there, he does offer additional information that is varying on the spectrum in terms of political grievances, issues about the conflicts elsewhere, not here, domestic issues, societal issues, a variety of other things, including personal challenges as well. We are intending to release those initial letters so people can understand best they can what the person's thought process was at one point in time. However, please understand there is still a lot more content to go through, and that may change. There may be a lot more information that we recover that explains either more or shows a change in mindset at different times. Just before I turn it over to FBI Special Agent Spencer Evans, I just want to take a note and just mention what the sheriff said, which is our counterterrorism section and all of the people involved in this have been working around the clock 24/7, tirelessly, truly through the night. They are second to none, and we really appreciate everything they're doing. With that, turn it over to the FBI.
Hey guys, did you know some drivers are ditching their car insurance and they're doing...
Brief intermission. I don't see someone getting paid to kill themselves. That makes no sense, sweetheart. Why would I take money if I'm going to die? You can't spend money for dead. Just saying. He's in the car. If you want to blow up something to get someone's attention and live, he could have put the device in a mailbox, in front of a door, a suitcase. I'm not going to sit in a car and plan to get out of the car. That doesn't make any sense. He already left a journal and an email to someone to say he planned on going somewhere. The somewhere is the Trump Hotel. He just didn't tell the person, allegedly, he was going to the Trump Hotel, because then he knew the person would 9 times out of 10 call the feds to say he was going to blow up the Tesla or whatever he was going to do.
Good afternoon. My name is Spencer Evans. I serve as the special agent in charge of the FBI's Las Vegas division. I'd like to express gratitude for everyone that's here today, and especially the partnerships that Sheriff Corrin just highlighted. It's been seamless collaboration between the FBI, ATF, Army, CID, Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. You know, if you walked into one of the command posts and someone's not wearing a uniform, you wouldn't be able to tell who works for which agency. And it's been outstanding collaboration. We do have significant updates that we're sharing with you from an investigative standpoint, but just want to reiterate, as Sheriff Corrin mentioned, that there is still a lot of ongoing investigation. We have terabytes of data that we have to analyze. We have outstanding search warrants and subpoenas, interviews that are being conducted around the globe as we try to paint a comprehensive picture of exactly what happened. That being said, we do feel confident that we have a much better sense of how we arrived at the events of the 1st of January and additional information that we can provide. So I'd like to first begin by addressing something that continues to be widely speculated, whether or not there was any connection between what happened in New Orleans on New Year's Day and then the incident here in Las Vegas just a few hours later. Just to be clear, there is no evidence that these two events are connected. The only things that we have connecting them are incidental, what we believe to be coincidental similarities, in that both vehicles were rented through the same service, that they were both subjects served in the military, that they both stayed at an Airbnb, things like that. We've identified no telephonic or email communication between the subjects, no information that suggests that they knew each other, that they ever served in the same unit, that they were ever assigned at the same place at the same time and had interaction, and no witness interviews have corroborated or provided any information that the two events are connected in any way. In similar fashion, we have not identified any connection between this subject and any other terrorist organization. During the FBI's international investigation to date, as I mentioned, we have interviewed family members, friends, the subject's associates, and military members that he served with around the globe. Through these interviews, we've found that the subject held no animosity towards the president-elect. That's something that's also been reported. Investigative steps have discovered, and information from the Army indicates, that he likely suffered from PTSD, and we are also aware that there were potential other family issues or personal grievances in his own life that may have been contributing factors. Again, we're looking into all of that. It's evident that the subject considered, planned, and thoughtfully prepared for this act alone. That's what we believe, and we have no information to the contrary at this point. The FBI has been able to confirm some of this through the utilization of video footage in public areas as he traveled from Denver to Las Vegas. We have video footage that shows that he is alone outside of the vehicle, and that corroborates again what Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department footage has also shown. The FBI, as the sheriff indicated, facilitated obtaining DNA from a family member that was able.
Military says mental illness, PTSD perhaps. Was he delusional, mentally ill, schizophrenic, bipolar? Has he been diagnosed with any type of mental disability? Was he on any type of medication? The motive was what? The things I've done in military against civilians. He felt guilty. He wanted you all to know what the military has been doing. Well, naturally, over the years, we have heard a lot by the United States government, and we heard a lot of this after 9/11 from a lot of men who have come forward to say, or a few, what they noticed, what was done, airstrikes, bombings by the U.S. overseas in trying to secure the security of this country from terrorism. You entitled to believe the allegations or not? Take the polls on my community page. If you believe this man was delusional, if you believe these allegations, take the polls. Was he ill? But also telling the truth, okay? He's mentally ill, he's depressed, he's PTSD, but he's telling the truth about the allegations of China spying on us from the East Coast with balloons and drones. He says both had this capacity or putting these drones, balloons in the air. We're now getting all this information about China spying on us through TikTok and in our messages. That's another question about not sending text messages because they're not encrypted in your phone. They're now saying talk on your phone only. Do not send text messages. Do you believe somebody is spying to get information through your text messages? I find all that interesting because that's been released, what, the past week to two? And now we have this guy talking about balloons and drones on the East Coast with some type of capacity to do something, spying or whatever. I don't really know because I haven't read his email to try to understand what he's trying to relay to the public. Stay woke. Maybe America knows more than what they're telling us about China and things that they know and have access to. This man also believes he was being followed. I'm going to read you some information pertaining to his thought process and what was allegedly in the email. And you can decide if this man was mentally ill, but also telling the truth. He's ill, but he ain't lying about what America did wrong in fighting war. And we know there are going to be casualties with war. That just comes with it. So you have to decide if America was exacting strikes in places that they weren't supposed to. There's also some information about America was warned about some of these strikes, that they were illegal or let's say unlawful. I'll bring you all that information after this video plays. Thank you.
Was able to be conclusively matched to confirm the subject's identity. As Sheriff Corrin mentioned, although this incident is more public and more sensational than usual, it ultimately appears to be a tragic case of suicide involving a heavily decorated combat veteran who is struggling with PTSD and other issues. Yesterday, I wanted to highlight, I mentioned a tip that was unverified that the FBI had received. Sheriff McMahon will talk about this. It's now floating around there on podcasts. This is a tip that the FBI received after the bombing occurred that seemed to describe some of the personal grievances that the subject may have held. We still have not conclusively determined that that's from the subject, but feel confident based on evidence that we're uncovering on his devices that that was in fact from LIVELSBERGER. I want to reiterate that prior to this incident, the FBI did not have any information on this subject. He was not on our radar. He didn't have criminal history. There was nothing that we would have been looking into him for up until this point. Last thing I just wanted to highlight briefly is it's not lost on us. We understand that there were victims. While the subject himself was the only person that was deceased, there were several folks that were injured. And obviously, any sort of incident like this has a traumatic impact on the greater community and folks that are rightly so going to be scared and concerned, and some people that were inconvenienced and some that were taken to the hospital with injuries. We'd like to remind everyone that we're working with Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department advocates, the Office of Emergency Services advocates, and the Southern Nevada Resiliency Justice Center to offer services to these victims. We recognize that there may be victims that are yet unidentified. So for those that might be suffering or otherwise impacted, we'd ask you to reach out to the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI. And in similar fashion, as we reiterated yesterday, anyone who has tips related to the subject or this particular incident, please call us at 1-800-CALL-FBI or submit a tip online at tips.fbi.gov. And with that, I'll turn it over to the Assistant Special Agent in Charge from the ATF, Kenny Cooper.
So be so for real.
All right. ID linked to Mr. Matthew. DNA has been exacted to verify he is indeed the man in the truck, unalive, burned, beyond recognition versus ID, passport, military ID found inside of the Tesla truck. Family saying, again, he was a Republican, Trump fan, no commentary, I guess, about politics. I don't know. Everything's about, it's up for interpretation. That's all I can say. I don't know. It's very strange. Still strange he did it there. He could have killed himself anywhere, that's how I look at it. I don't know.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kenny Cooper. I'm Assistant Special Agent with the ATF San Francisco Field Division. I have some very quick resources. ATF has brought in some of our top experts from our national response team that will assist with the sifting through the debris of the Tesla. And that's an abundance of caution to make sure that we've got the initiation sequence identified as best we can from the evidence that survived the thermal event of this explosion, and to ensure that no other bad actors were involved in the initiation of that device. Also, my second update is to the firearms purchased by our subject on December 30th, 2024. Our ATF investigators were able to track down that lawful purchase at a gun store in Colorado. Our subject arrived in that gun store by himself on December 27th and initiated the ATF 14473 and actually paid for those two firearms that were recovered from the Tesla on the 27th. It was a sole occupant of a vehicle arriving and departing that on that date. And then on the 30th, we have video evidence of our subject entering that gun store as the sole occupant of the Tesla. He actually received and transferred those two firearms and took into his possession at that time, and he departed as the sole occupant in the Tesla. Those are the two updates that I'm here to provide to you at this time. Thank you.
All right, with that, we'll entertain a couple questions. If you could, please identify yourself, and we'll go from there. David? Yeah, so let me just, the question was, can we, the video that we showed, sorry, I was standing back there, so I wasn't sure which one you were looking at, but the question is, the video that we showed at the Tesla charging stations, who provided that to us? I'll let Dory answer.
Without getting too far into the technicalities, there are various components in there that were retrieved. The SDMI card, it was not where the video was retrieved from. That was where we got the data to be able to determine that it was not in self-driving mode. However, Tesla did provide and helped our team be able to recover the thumb drive that records other types of data to include video by the Tesla. Kingman, Arizona.
Second question is about the detonation. There's a lot of questions. How was he able to die by suicide and set this off? Can you just very basic
Mercy.
how that could happen?
Make it make sense.
Yeah, so the second question is how are we able to explain the detonation versus the suicide? And we just believe it to be simultaneous at the time of the detonation. But again, that's why the ATF's bringing in the SABTs from outside to look at what that sequence was for the initiation of the explosion as well. And it's very difficult to see inside of those Teslas, even with the camera angles that we have. And so we still remain challenged on finding some of that exact timing on all of that. Go ahead. Hi, Stephanie. So the question is, if we knew of a alien Matthew Berg and he had been previously on a television show, we've seen that reporting but have not verified that reporting. Behind you.
Kevin Nye with NBC News. How would you describe his state of mind in these final days, given everything that you read from the note app and the manifesto that you see that you referenced going around the podcast? Have you guys been able to rule out that it was not for him, or is it still up in the air that it could have been for him?
So the question is, how would I describe his state of mind in the manifesto that was described on the podcast? Have we been able to determine whether that was from him or not? And I'll answer the first part is, I'm not comfortable giving you state of mind just yet. I certainly am leaning a particular way. But again, I'd like to be factual to you. I think when you read the documents that we're going to give you a link to at the end of this press conference, that you can go in and make some of your own assumptions about what that is. But I will tell you that part of my hesitation on that is, I know that we have a lot more documents and number of things for us to uncover. And so I want to be able to provide to you only the factual information when I have it. And so I'm not going to opine on what I believe his state of mind was at that particular time. But certainly you can see some troubling aspects in his personal life as well. And I don't know if you want to address the second part, Spencer.
Let me stop right there.
Yeah, so in terms
I'm glad that the chief said that, because it's so easy to assume why somebody did something. Naturally, when we saw the Tesla, or heard that it blew up at the Trump Hotel, the average thought would be, oh, he didn't like Trump or blah, blah, blah. But then you have the family saying, no, that's not it. But you're still talking about the human mind. And when you don't know a person and you don't know their thought process, you don't know what they were going through, you can't really say. It's just how it looks. And that's usually how we judge things, is how it looks. So I'm still going to say, why there? Why do it at all? Number one. Number two, why there? You could have blown yourself up in a park in the middle of traffic. Was it to get attention? Get people to talk? But that's why I said, you doing it there, we're going to make people think you had an issue with Mr. Trump or Tesla, as someone said in the chat the other day. Elon Musk is in cahoots with Trump, so people would say it's about Elon Musk as well. But could have been the only truck they had at the rental company, the Turo app. See, you can weigh it 1,000 ways. Hey, I need an SUV. And they said, oh, all we got is this Tesla truck. So you have to think of all the possibilities. Because as I said, it's easy to jump to conclusions. So this official here is right. You have to know the mind of the person. You don't know him, so you don't know really what's the truth. As I said, even with the allegations against the military, you have to know that that's the truth. The military is never going to confirm nothing he has said. Nothing. Somebody would have to come out with a receipt to show what the military has done unlawfully, and also the information about the drones and the balloons from China and the U.S. on the East Coast, unlawful strikes in Afghanistan or anywhere else. Somebody would have to bring some type of data, and naturally that person would be under scrutiny and arrested for leaking out any type of military secrets information. Lord have mercy. It's a lot to digest. And then he mentions family issues, problems. So what problems was Matthew having? Girlfriend, mother, father, as I said, once again, mental issues, PTSD, on medication, held down a job, was walking around, I guess, pretending to be halfway normal, but that's the whole point. You don't know people. So when you factor in being in the military, seeing certain things as, you know, it's been reported, you don't really know how that affects a person, because that's been mentioned also with this issue down in New Orleans. Those events can have a lasting effect on a person's mindset, war. And we have seen what has happened with many veterans here in the United States. They don't get adequate care for their mental issues, you know, bad dreams, night sweats, delusions, so on and so forth. So then you have to also ask yourself the mindset of the person when they went into the military. Just like any profession, a person may have some issues, but nobody noticed that something was wrong with them. Okay? So you have to ask all those questions. Childhood trauma, trauma in the military itself, going to war, coming back, acclimating to civilian life, which we hear about Mr. Shamsuddin Jabbar, not acclimating, coming out from, you know, military life, being married, but allegedly was a nice guy. That's what's being said about him. You're entitled to your opinion. Naturally, the act in New Orleans was not nice, but so far I haven't heard anything negative about him. What will we hear about Matthew as a person, his disposition towards people? How did he treat people? We hear that he was depressed. Who was Matthew LIVELSBERGER?
Of the so-called manifesto that's circulating online, we have strong evidence to suggest that it was the subject that wrote it, but we haven't conclusively proven that yet. And that evidence relates to other evidence that we're finding that we're able to compare that lead us to believe it was in fact him who sent it.
Finally, homemade Manjaro makes your pants drop.
Commercial. Hello, Mary. What's going on? What is going on, dear? I can't type for nothing today. Lord have mercy. Weigh in, everybody. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? Don't know. You don't know people. That's all I can say. Leave it at that.
J1? Is it J1? The question is, do I have any updates on the conditions of the people who were injured? And I'm told that they're all relatively minor injuries, and they've all been released from the hospital.
As you were showing us these experts, can you say why definitively he chose the Trump International Hotel and why he decided to come here to Las Vegas?
Yeah, the question is, with the excerpts that we showed, can we definitively identify why he chose the Trump Hotel Tower location as well as Las Vegas? And the answer is no. In fact, I think when you read through some of that, you might find that there were some other considerations as well for other locations. And we can't verify all of that at this point, and so that's why I haven't talked about that publicly.
Do you know what other locations he was considering, and were they here in Nevada?
There was one location in Grand Canyon that was specifically talked about there, but we haven't been able to verify.
The Grand Canyon, good Lord.
So the question is why don't we consider what happened in New Orleans and what happened in Las Vegas connected? And the simple answer to that is we don't find anything to actually point us in that direction. There are those coincidences that we have spoken very openly about, but we have not found throughout this entire investigation anything that ties the two attacks directly together. Go ahead.
No connection.
So the question is, were we able to identify the types of explosives that were in the vehicle and where he was able to find those? There's a mortar type fireworks in the back of the vehicle, some camping fuel, and we do know that it looks like from that document that we're going to provide to you that he may have stopped outside of a location in New Mexico and obtained those fireworks legally. But that is another aspect of the investigation that continues. I know. The question is that we know that we've said that he was not opposed, the suspect was not opposed to President-elect Trump, and do we know what his political views are or were? There's a variety of different reporting out there, Noble, on what that is and some of the people around him and what their particular political views were. I think when you read some of these documents, you'll see that he actually calls it a stunt in one of these documents that we're going to release to you, that he was trying to get the attention of the American people because he was upset about a number of different things. But I'll let those writings speak for themselves. I'm not conclusively telling you anything about his political affiliations at this point, but I think that's more to come on that. So,
what is his political affiliation? Is he a Trump supporter? Once again, why that hotel? We'll say it again. Grand Canyon makes no sense. Tesla truck car found blown up at the Grand Canyon. Just saying. Well, stunt. What do you mean by stunt? Can't ask him. He's dead. But he knew people would talk. So maybe that was the point. They'll find the manifesto, journals, however you want to word it, and then they'll take what they want from it. But see, that's the whole thing about people. When people do things like this, such as what happened in New Orleans, people start coming up with all type of wild theories and who did this and who's involved. And sometimes, I'm going to be truthful. I keep saying this about social media and people talking. A lot of you just exacerbate stuff before you even get the information. Okay? Let them give you the information. That's with the New Orleans. The lady gave information too soon about it wasn't a terrorist attack, and then information came out about him being inspired by ISIS. So this is why you have to wait before assuming anything. That goes for law officials, that goes for us. Let them gather the info. Don't understand what he means by stunt, because stunt sounds like a prank. Now, as I said to somebody in the chat earlier, me sitting in a car with explosives, I can't logically think I'm going to get out of there. I don't think he intended to get out of there. Because why have a gun and why shoot yourself? The explosives didn't make him shoot himself. He put a gun up to his own head. So he wanted to die. Weeks of buying explosives, so on and so forth, they bringing you this information. So the planning was been put into works, okay? Explosives in the back, gun in hand, only one in the car, nobody jumped out, just him. So he did this on his own for whatever reason. You're entitled to believe what you want on the information that they give you. Still strange to me, but that's the point. I'm not him. I'm not trying to kill myself. I'm not trying to strap a bomb on myself. I'm not trying to run anybody down in a damn truck. I'm not trying to do any of those things. Because I'm not neither of these men. I don't know them. I don't know what they were going through. But I know that stress, mental illness put together is a recipe for disaster. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you were in the military or not. You put stress and mental illness together, you have a bomb, literally. That is why people act out, why people are getting shot by police, grabbing weapons, threatening themselves, threatening people. Police don't know that these people are in the database for having mental issues. Don't look to see if they've had calls on them for acting out, lashing out. And naturally, you're coming, going towards an officer with a weapon or somebody, yeah, they're going to shoot. We have a case that just brewed this week here. Young boy this is their version, went to serve a warrant, allegedly had a gun, and then now he's dead, young black boy. Don't know what's the truth of that. As I said, I'll wait on the body cam before I form an opinion. So I don't want to put my foot in my mouth. What was he depressed about? What was he depressed about? What other complaints, concerns did he have that led him down this road to sit in a Tesla in front of the Trump Hotel? Curious. I must say, pertaining to Mr. Trump and the latest events since July of 2024 up until now, there have been some people unhappy with him. I'm just saying, just throwing it out there. What a way to go into the presidency, 2025. But anywho, there are a lot of unstable people. And FBI now is concerned with copycats. But truthfully, that's what people have been doing for about 20 plus years, since 99 or so. Copycats, mass shootings, children acting out, upset, bullied, revenge. That's been going on. What's the old saying? I can show you better than I can tell you. And that's what you have right now going on here in America and abroad. Let me show you how I feel. That's all these acts are showing. Someone upset, disturbed, pissed off, angry, bitter, mad, vengeful, spiteful. I want you to hurt like how I'm hurting. That's what all this is about. Also, you put in mental illness. Different reasons these people are doing these acts. Some are for the name of religion, God. As I said, angry, mad, delusional, schizophrenic, just different reasons. But in the end, somebody has lost their life. So those people, their relatives rather, they don't care if you were upset, depressed, delusional, sick, mental, got a secret about what was going on in Afghanistan, the military, the American government. They're not going to care about that. They want to know why their loved one is dead. But I will say stress and mental illness can lead you down this road. And this won't be the last story of Matthew Shamsud Dean Jabbar. There will be somebody else, because there always is. People need to seek help. Get mental help for your mind, suicide, homicidal thoughts, can't cope, having issues getting along with people, whatever the situation is, get some help. Make somebody help you, because you don't want to go down this road. Life is for the living. And others have not hurt you. That's my message today.
Sir?
Talk to us about this. You have individuals who obviously struggle with mental health here. Remember, as military service, there are others out there who may be struggling with this. A lot of mental health issues here. When they read these letters that you're about to release, how do you quell others who are struggling with the same, from carrying out and seeing this as an inspiration? How do you quell the copycats out there?
Yeah, so the question is obviously there's mental health involved in this, as we've already talked about, and how do we quell the others that are similarly situated to him out there in America. And I think Spencer rightly talked about this for a moment, is what you can tell by looking at this, that PTSD from a highly decorated United States currently serving military individual, from what I'm told was 5 tours of combat, obtained some of the highest awards you can get. It's not much different, quite frankly, than the reasoning why we started our wellness bureau here at Metro, and taking care of the heart, mind, body, and soul of the people that are out there doing this work, because They're exposed to things, they see things, they hear things, they feel things, and they smell things that most normal people don't have to do. And the heroes that are serving in the military and on the front lines of America's policing are challenged that way. And so I think, we need to really pay attention to those individuals, pay attention to what mental health in America looks like. And I think this is just one more incident that brings that to the forefront of where it is that we are in talking about these types of things.
Exactly.
I'll take one more. Sure. The Sean what? Is that the yeah? So can I tell you why he chose the first question? No, not really. I haven't been able to find anything definitive about it. Secondly, is the Sean Ryan podcast, and yeah, that's the podcast that I'm referring to. And I'm sorry, there was one more hand over here that. Go ahead. Hi.
Is there any more speculation, more understanding on why he chose the route that he chose? Obviously, coming from Colorado, you can go through Utah, that's more contemplated. Any more understanding when we're thinking about all the different potential sites that he could have chosen for?
So the question is do we know why he chose the route that he chose? I don't think we can tell you we know why he chose it, but I can tell you that there's some writings in those documents that we're going to release to you that he mentioned going to the border as well as going to the Grand Canyon. And so we continue to look through all of the available evidence to help us answer that question better. And with that, I'd just like to, again, thank you all for the great work you're doing in helping us get this story out. And obviously, as we get additional information, we'll push it out to you. Thank you very much.
All right, Chief. Now. All right, let's get more information on this Tesla bombing, Matthew LIVELSBERGER. Oh, wow. What a mess. What a mess. Welcome to the Vault Excel, everyone. Happy Saturday. Happy New Year. This is live number 1. I will be back with live number 2, Sebastian Rogers. Thank you for your time. Newsweek is the source of this information. If I can get it to pull up. It's having a Lordy. One moment, everybody. Give me your thoughts on Mr. Matthew. Delusional? PTSD? Some truth to his allegations against the military? What do you think? And as I said before, the military is not going to own anything said in his journal or thoughts. We already know that. LIVELSBERGER, Green Beret, main suspect in the Cybertruck attack in Las Vegas, reportedly sent a manifesto-like email to retired U.S. Army intelligence officer Sam Shoemate just days before a car bomb exploded in front of Trump International Hotel. Shoemate revealed the email on the Sean Ryan Show podcast described its contents as allegations of advanced drone technology, a cover-up of a 2019 airstrike in Afghanistan, and claims of being under U.S. government surveillance. Firework mortars and camp fuel canisters were found inside the Tesla Cybertruck that is outside the President-elect Donald Trump's Las Vegas hotel early Wednesday. The blast resulted in a single casualty, the suspect inside the vehicle, and sparked a thorough investigation into potential terrorism. Sheriff Kevin McMahon described the body, I called him chief, he's sheriff, described the body in the Cybertruck as almost beyond recognition. On Thursday, authorities identified the victim as Matthew Livelsberger, a 37-year-old U.S. Army veteran who reportedly shot himself in the head moments before the explosion. While investigators are still determining Livelsberger's motives for detonating the explosives outside the hotel, his alleged manifesto has provided some clues. In the document, Livelsberger raised questions about national security and U.S. military transparency, offering potential insight into his actions. Livelsberger allegedly sent an email to retired U.S. Army intelligence officer Sam Shoemate detailing concerns about advanced drones using GDIC propulsion systems, which he described as anti-gravity technology. In the email read on the Sean Ryan podcast, Livelsberger claimed that the U.S. and China developed and deployed the drones. He alleged that China launched them from submarines along the U.S. East Coast, calling them the most dangerous threat to national security because of their stealth ability to evade detection and unlimited payload capacity, whatever that means. Matthew also referenced his involvement in the 2019 U.S. airstrike in Nimruz province, Afghanistan. He claimed the operation, which targeted drug facilities, caused civilian casualties, including women and children, and was covered up by the U.S. authorities. The allegations align with the 2019 UN report criticizing the strikes as unlawful. Livelsberger said the incident pushed him to speak out. So when they say speak out, do they mean in this email, or had he spoken out to someone before, such as the government, a newspaper, Facebook, IG, so on and so forth? Did he speak out publicly on a public platform and or newspaper, something like that? Additionally, he accused the FBI and Homeland Security of monitoring and tracking him, describing efforts to avoid being detained. The only person who died as a result of the incident was the suspect from a self-inflicted gunshot, according to police. Now they ask, is the manifesto real? After the alleged manifesto began circulating on social media following the podcast, reporters asked Las Vegas police and the FBI at a press conference if the suspect had written it. Authorities said they believe the letter shared by Sean Ryan was authored by the bombing suspect. What does the manifesto say? Shoemate said Friday that he received an email from Livelsberger on Tuesday. According to Shoemate, the email said, "In case I do not make it to my decision point or on to the Mexico border, I'm sending this now. Please do not release this until 1 January and keep my identity private until then. First off, I am not under duress or hostile influence or control. My first car was a 2006 black Ford Mustang V6 for verification. What we have been seeing with drones is the operational use of gravitic propulsion systems powered aircraft by most recently China, in the East Coast, but throughout history, the US. Only we in China have this capability. Our open location for this activity in the box is below. China has been launching them from the Atlantic from submarines for years, but this activity recently has picked up. As of now, it is just a show of force, and they are using it similar to how they use the balloon for SIGINT and ISR, which are also part of the integrated comm system. There are dozens of those balloons in the air at any given time. The so what is because of the speed and stealth of these unmanned AC. They are the most dangerous threat to national security that has ever existed. They basically have an unlimited payload capacity and can park it over the WH if they want it. It's checkmate. USG needs to give the history of this, how we are employing it and weaponizing it, how China is employing them, and what the way forward is. China is posed to attack anywhere in the East Coast. I've been followed for over a week now from likely Homeland or FBI, and they are looking to move on me and are unlikely going to let me cross into Mexico, but won't because they know I am armed and I have a massive VBIED. I've been trying to maintain a very visible profile and have kept my phone, and they are definitely digitally tracking me. I have knowledge of this program and also war crimes that were covered up during airstrikes in Nimruz province, Afghanistan in 2019 by the admin, DOD, DEA, and CIA. I conducted targeting for these strikes of over 125 buildings. 65 were struck because of CIVCAS, that killed hundreds of civilians in a single day. U.S. FORA, that's USFORA, continued strikes after spotting civilians on initial ISR. It was supposed to take 6 minutes and scramble all aircraft in sitcom. The UN basically called these war crimes, but the administration made them disappear. I was part of that cover-up with U.S. FORA, an agent, redacted, of the DEA. Wow. So he put the agent's name there. So I don't know if my abduction attempt is related to either. I worked with Jen Miller's 10 staff on this as well as a response to Bala Murgab. AOB-S commander at the time, redacted, can validate this. So now he's got another person saying they redacted. You need to elevate this to the media so we avoid a world war, because this is a mutually assured destruction situation. For vetting, my LinkedIn is Matt Berg or Matthew LIVELSBERGER, an active duty 18Z out of 1-10. My profile is public. I have an active TSSCI with UAP, USAP access. Oh, what people are saying. Spencer Evans, FBI special agent in charge, at a news conference. Although this incident is more public and more sensational than usual, it ultimately appears to be a tragic case of suicide involving a heavily decorated combat veteran who was struggling with PTSD and other issues. Alicia Arrett, former girlfriend of LIVELSBERGER, told the Associated Press he, Matthew, would go through periods of withdrawal and he struggled with depression and memory loss. Tesla CEO Elon Musk said on X, the evil knuckleheads picked the wrong vehicle for a terrorist attack. Cybertruck actually contained the explosion and directed the blast upwards. What happens next? Authorities are still working to determine a motive. Among the charred items found inside the truck were a handgun at LIVELSBERGER's feet, another firearm, fireworks, a passport, a military ID, credit cards, an iPhone, and a smartwatch. McMahill said. Authorities said both guns were purchased legally. Investigators suspect LIVELSBERGER may have been planning a more damaging attack, but the steel-sided vehicle absorbed much of the force from the crudely built explosive. Newsweek is the source of this information. I don't know much of what he was saying in this email because I don't know military jargon or information. So you're entitled to dissect it as you see fit. But I'm going to Google this payload payload capacity. What is that supposed to mean exactly? Wow, wow, wow. What was the motive? Guilt from being in the war, killing civilians, the drones, balloons, being a threat. What's the truth? Help me understand what I just read. Oh my goodness. Hello, everybody in the chat. Thank you for joining me. Mary says, what are those documents he's releasing? Is it like Dear Diary note? Yeah, Mary, you ain't go back to bed. What is it? Hold on, I want to Google something. I don't know, my devices are acting up today. They don't want to log on for some reason. It's strange. Hold on one second, everybody. I want to Google something right quick. Now, he's talking about payload capacity compared to these balloons, but the only thing I'm pulling up is a vehicle's payload capacity about the weight. So I guess he's talking about the weight of the balloons. I don't really know what he's talking about. Because this is pertaining to cars. Let me just type in another word, drone, alongside that. Says it doesn't match any of our, yeah, of course. Something strange about this. It's not even coming up in a Google search. I don't know. I don't know what he was talking about. Still nothing. Well, I'm not gonna worry about it. It make my head hurt. We're gonna go to my community page. Ooh, Lordy. Gonna read you all's one of the young ladies that was a victim of the truck attack down in New Orleans works for Amazon. It's a black girl. And I'm gonna read you that information briefly. The feds have returned to Shamsud Jabbar's home in Texas, and materials were found at the Airbnb pertaining to the IEDs. They were found at the Airbnb. Lord have mercy. In case you're curious. Yeah, it's probably not for the understanding, because that's the whole point, like what the sheriff is saying. I'm not going to say what his mindset is. And that was a good thing for him to say. Because everybody's going to try to assume what was going on with him, the other guy in New Orleans. You don't know. You just don't know what it's about. That's why I said we don't know if these people were already mentally ill, acquired mental illness along the way, paranoid, delusions. He already thought the people were following him. So let's ask that question. Was the military following him, the FBI? Were they following him? You heard him say abduction attempt. So was somebody trying to abduct him? Lord have mercy. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. That's a deep allegation besides the airstrike information. But they say there's a UN report on it. So if the UN has something to say about it, then more than likely there's some truth to it. The civilians being unalived in that airstrike, 2019 airstrike. I'm trying to open this article pertaining to this young lady. And it's not opening up for some reason, which I find very strange. A woman who was seriously injured in a New Year's Eve truck attack in New Orleans says that Amazon warehouse where she works has denied her request for leave of absence. In an interview with the New Orleans Advocate, 23-year-old Alexis Scott Wyndham of Mobile, Alabama, says that her request for a leave of absence was denied despite the fact that she still has a bullet lodged in her foot and is suffering from what the newspaper describes as multiple fractures as a result of the incident, which took the lives of 14 people and left several more injured. Scott Wyndham, who is the mother of a 1-year-old girl, tells the Advocate that she fears she'll have to find a new job now because her injuries have left her in no condition to work. Other than that, I'm just thankful to be here, Scott Wyndham told the paper. Scott Wyndham's friend, 22-year-old Brandon Wissett, was also injured in the attack and remains hospitalized with multiple injuries to his leg, shoulder, back, and head, writes the Advocate. 42 Shamsuddin Jabbar, the main suspect in the New Orleans truck attack, allegedly plowed into a crowd of people on Bourbon Street in New Orleans just after 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday morning. Investigators found that Jabbar, an American citizen, was in possession of a flag of the terrorist group ISIS, although they have said that they have no evidence yet that he was acting in coordination with anyone else. Now, pertaining to this information, update. The Advocate reported Amazon released a statement Friday afternoon in which it said the woman has now been granted time off with pay. Okay? Alexis Scott Wyndham, 23 years of age. What is wrong with people? The story is all over the world that people were mowed down on a public street in New Orleans. 14 dead, 15 including the suspects, and a person has to worry about their health, taking care of a child, paying bills, and almost killed from a mad person. And then you have come out with a statement. Oh, well, she okay. She can still get paid to work, okay? This is ridiculous. This is the reason why we have people doing the things they're doing, such as Mr. Matthew, Mr. Jabbar, because stress builds up, people become angry, spiteful, they can't cope, they can't think of a way out of situations, and next thing you know, they're unaliving themselves and other people. So as I was saying to myself earlier, now imagine you're wrangling with these people about the job. Now they want to come back and say, oh, she can get paid, blah, blah, blah. Then she has to worry about medical. We don't know if she has medical insurance. We don't know if she'll end up having a lot of bills from this incident. See, nobody thinks about all that. And that causes people to become stressed out. Then they become bitter. And then one thing begets another. Okay? She will probably have PTSD now after this incident. She'll probably be afraid to go out in public. See, nobody thinks about any of these things. That one thing begets another. So it's easy for us to judge the people when they do these type of acts. But we also know that we have also been in certain situations that these people have been in. Mental illness, paranoid delusion, stress, marital problems, kid problems, financial problems. We just haven't gone out here and killed anyone. It's just a sad, sad dilemma. Everybody does not handle stress well. This is why they tell you, you need to learn how to treat people, talk to people, have respect for people, because you don't know what people are going through. You don't know their mindsets. These just happen to be people who've popped off. There will be more people that are going to pop off. That's why we have all the problems we have in the United States with people exacting violence, because they become fed up. It's not saying it's right to exact violence, hurt people, put your hands on them. The point is, people are becoming more and more unstable. That's my point. So just like she had to ask for time off, the fact that a person would even consider telling her no, that's what I'm talking about. I don't care if they double back. There should have been no double backing. She just got ran over. What is it that somebody don't understand about a person got ran over? So let's say she stands on her feet processing packages or whatever she was doing at Amazon. She's supposed to go hobble into work on crutches and stand on her feet for 8-10 hours with a fucking bullet in her foot. Are you serious? Are you serious? I'll let this sit right there. You sound idiotic. Oh, she can get paid. Sorry. So now everybody that works for Amazon, you now know you are collateral damage. That something bad happens to you, whether it makes the news or not, these people do not have your back, like so many companies out here. This is what I'm saying. This is why people pop. Because if you work for a company that won't even let you rest from being hurt, shot, beat up, cancer, whatever the hell you got going on, you are doomed. Because like I said, more than likely, we don't even know if the girl has medical insurance or not. Hey, Amazon, does she have medical insurance through you all? How long has she been there? See, we don't know none of that. She could have been working just 3 months. She has a kid to take care of. Have bills, rent, might have a car note. That's my point. Nobody cares about anything. That's why people are becoming worse and worse, more angry, more bitter, because everything's a loophole today. As you heard with Mr. Jabbar, he was in the military and he's sitting up here wrangling with these people to pay for education. But yet the military wants you to join. Why? Join for what? Join the military for what reason? They even said that about the FBI. Nobody even wants to join the FBI, become an agent. They won't. Why? Probably the same for police work too, social work, because nobody is being valued as a human being. And people are seeing this. Young people are seeing this. I'm not going in that career. They don't even want to pay you. Exactly. Going to school, paying $30,000 a year for a school? Stay woke now. Times 4. That's not including books, meals, dorm, activity fee, driving a car, spending money, food plan, meal plan. Exactly. To only get out, I got to pay this money back to the bank. Can't find a job. Get tired of looking, take the best job that comes along, and I can't even pay the school loans back. Checkmate. This is the American dream. Hustle till you die. Die paying a mortgage. No reason for houses to be expensive as they are. See, we can go on and on. That's my point. It's like it's not set up for you to win. And many people have said this. It's not set up for you to win. We the people are making it hard for we the people. And I get it. It's not everyone's fault. They work in a company. They're only exacting what the manifesto is, if you get my drift. Oh, I'm just passing along the rules and the regulations. I didn't write the rules. Please don't cuss me out. You know, just like calling customer service about something you bought, woo, woo, woo. It's not really the person's fault on the phone that you're talking to. They don't want to return something. They don't want to get money back. They're just repeating what was told to them. But that's not how we view it at the time. So that goes for medical insurance, life insurance, car insurance. Don't want to pay out when your car's been hit, wrecked. You see where I'm going with this. There are discrepancies, problems in everything known to man and woman and child. Sorry, it's past 90 days, can't take it back. Sorry, got to have a receipt. Now the stores know better than to do it because they're tired of people coming in there. But like they say, we can, as Target said on their little memo, we can return, we can deny a return if we believe you're trying to commit fraud. You see, there's a problem with everything. You could just pick something out of the book of life and bring forward a complaint of what is wrong. There's just problems, period, in living. And it's bad. This is why people are popping off. Because there's just a problem. Everybody makes it so fucking hard to live. Every day, if you just open up the Newsbreak app and just scroll through the articles, they are endless complaints of what people are mad and angry about. You got to do this, and this. You got to jump through hula hoops just to vote. Oh, you don't live there. Oh, you got to go over here to register. Oh, you got to go to this place. That ain't the jurisdiction. Blah, blah, blah. It's always something. Always got to show proof you are who you are. I need 3 forms of identification, please. When you know damn well ain't nobody got no damn 3 forms on a laminated card. So that's either your ID, driver license, birth certificate, and your social security card, or a passport. You see where I'm going with this. This is life. This is why people need help in navigating through life, the stresses of life. And some of us are more high-strung than others, so we get more emotional and upset over things that maybe somebody else wouldn't get upset over. I've been told that, oh, you get upset over stuff, and I always tell people, yeah, until it's your turn. And then when you're mad about something, then you go complain, and then you'll tell people, you don't understand. And then I can say, well, when I was upset yesterday, my shit was petty, remember? So why should I empathize with the fuck you're talking about? Exactly. Until you put the shoe on, you don't understand. You don't know what's going on with people. You don't know what they're tired and fed up of. Some of us want that perfect utopia. I'm one of those people. I'm tired of drama my damn self. Every time you look up, it's the same BS with people. But that's the point. You don't have no control. I have no control over these nimwits out here. You want to drive down the street, run somebody over the sidewalk? I've been almost hit by a car 2 times in a week. 2 weeks ago, came across the damn street. Because you don't want to obey the law where there's flashing lights. See where I'm going? The law says, it's a big old sign, stop for the pedestrian. And yet somebody would yell out a car at me when there's a big ass sign above on a pole. That's my point. Because people don't care. Nobody cares about anything. We are self-serving individuals. That's our problem. We want what we want when we want it. We don't want nobody saying nothing about it. We don't want nobody arguing about it. We don't want nobody disputing any damn thing. And that's why you have a Matthew, a Jabbar, fed up. I'm not condoning what they have done. I'm just saying. People become fed up and we will have more pop-offs, sadly. Somebody's going to get caught in the crossfire. And it's just sad that it's the new year and we had this type of catastrophe from New Orleans on first day of the new year. I also read on Tuesday, New Year's Eve, a judge killed himself down in Georgia in a courthouse. Basically, they're thinking he probably done that Monday night. He was not reelected for his post. And it ended December 31st, 2024. He also has some improprieties of allegations from a clerk that he caused her distress or him distress. And then they say something about some allegations against the court clerk. Don't know what was all that's about. I'm sure it'll come to light eventually, but that's deep. Kill yourself in the courthouse where you now have been booted out. Maybe he thought something else was going to come from him being booted out. The truth of what he's been doing, not doing, I don't know. But it just shows you people are unstable. Why Matthew did this, I don't know. Is there any truth to his allegations against the military and those airstrikes? Looks like it's possibly true. Was he being followed by the United States government, FBI? Don't know. That might be part of his delusion. Paranoid because he knows what he witnessed in the military. Don't know who all he told about these airstrikes and these drones and balloons. I don't know. All I know is he's dead. And thank God nobody was injured. All participants have now been released from the hospital. Last check with the Jabbar incident, 13 people are still in the hospital. So that means 2 people have been released from the hospital down there. And also this young lady I just told you about, she has to, rest from her injuries. And Amazon didn't want her to take off, but they have now said stay home with pay. Now, the gist of that story is, how long will she be able to stay at home with pay? 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5? See, they don't even know what's going to happen to her foot once healed. Will she be able to stand up straight? Will she be able to walk straight? Will she be able to run? Will she be able to stand up for hours? Will there be nerve damage? See, nobody thinks about none of that. You just worried about your business and what she can bring to the table by helping you get the product out to the public. Fuck her foot. I don't care about her foot, back, neck. I don't care about her having a kid. I don't care about her having bills. I need her here. So like I said before, anybody working for Amazon, you already know the deal. You need not call them and tell them you got hit by a truck, you had a stroke. They expect you to bring your ass into work. And that's jacked up. But this is the kind of world we live in. It's all about me. I want you here at the job. I don't care if you got your arm cut off yesterday. Bandage it up and come on into the job. I know you ain't gonna be able to do the job right, but come on in any damn way. See, that's crazy to me. This is why a lot of people don't care nothing about working no damn job, because they know you're not gonna get treated right. Hello, everybody in the chat. Thank you for joining me. They ain't gonna treat you right. They ain't gonna talk to you right. That's why a lot of jobs don't have people entering those fields, because 1, you don't pay enough. 2, once again, disposition, attitude, and that's every job. There's always a nasty head knocker, nasty supervisor, team leader, every job, retail, restaurant, all the way up to corporations. It's the way it is. We are our problem. And until we check ourselves, you're going to have another Matthew. You're going to have another Shamsud. You're going to have another somebody. You're going to have another child who bullied, feels inadequate. That's it. You got to get help. And most people don't want help. Most men aren't going to get help. As some guy said the other day, guys are taught to hold it in. Don't express their emotions. So now I'm not getting ready to go out here and tell nobody, hey, I feel hurt inside. Hey, I don't like myself. Hey, I'm depressed. Hey, I want to be a better me. Hey, I don't like me. Boys are taught to get up. Exactly. Fall down. You better not cry. Get up. What are you crying for? Call them names. You're not a sissy. You're not a punk. Get up. Dust yourself off. Exactly. And that's the world we live in. You're not expected to have emotions. You're not supposed to cry. You're not supposed to whine. Get up. Dust yourself off. And that's true. At some point, we do have to get up and dust ourselves off. But you have to remember, everybody is not built the same. Everyone don't process information the same. Everybody don't process problems the same. So how you would react in a certain situation, that's not the next person. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to check out of here. I want to thank you for your time. I know a person that always seems to have this attitude like, fuck him, you know, that type of attitude. But then the other day that said they was feeling crummy. So, you know, the queen asked, what's the matter? Oh, I was just feeling crummy. Now, I could have been a smart bitch and said to this person, what, you? You're feeling crummy? You're feeling down? Oh, now, share, do tell. Because you're always walking around beating your chest. So what are you down about? You sure will tell the queen when she needs to tighten her shit and move on, forget about it, leave that alone. Don't say nothing to him, blah, blah, blah. But now you don't feel good. And you make sure not to tell why you were feeling crummy and down. Do y'all see where I'm going with this? My point exactly. Easy to tell somebody else to, you know, suck it up. Get over it. Move on. Leave it alone. Don't talk to that person. Don't be bothered until it's your turn. Checkmate. Because that's the world we're in. And I get it. Sometimes you don't want to be bothered. You don't want to hear other people's problems. You don't want to hear nobody whining about a man, a car, a shoe, a dog, a cat. And you might be the type you don't even tell people when something's bothering you, you're down about something. Because sometimes we have learned it's best you keep some things to yourself as not to be judged. But you should know that everybody's going to have a bad day. They're going to have a day where they do not feel good mentally, physically. They don't like themselves. They're mad at themselves. They're mad at the world, mad at a man, a woman, kid, whatever. And they got to work it out. But don't knock somebody because they feel bad that day. Or they don't like the way they've been treated, even if they allowed themselves to be in that situation. Because as I always say on this network, you do have to own your shit, what you participate in. But it's still not right for somebody to gaslight you, douse you with gasoline and mistreat you. Know that one day you will have to put that shoe on that you judge somebody else for wearing. And you ain't gonna like that feeling of being mistreated. That's my commentary. Like, share, subscribe, drop your comments below this video. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $BeGanji129 Cash App. Follow the Queen on the Newsbreak app. I'll be back with live number 2 pertaining to Sebastian Brothers this afternoon. You will not want to miss that live stream. We're going to talk about the options pertaining to if the child made it home or he was unalived in the house and taken out by the mother or some other participant, pulled up and got the child through the garage, and the police just aren't telling us they do have information of somebody leaving the house, because naturally that's not something they're going to tell the public. Here are the polls from the community page. Do you believe allegations made by Matthew LIVELSBERGER against the United States military? 38% yes, 15% no. No, excuse me, wait a minute, wait. Yes, the allegations made in the email to the friend. 38% yes, 15% no, 23% some, 23% not sure. Very interesting. Did the FBI follow Matthew LIVELSBERGER before his suicide? 31% says yes, 15% says no, 54% of you are not sure. Very interesting. 38% of you do believe the allegations that he sent to his friend in an email. What is the truth? Are those allegations true? Number one, airstrikes were unlawful. Any airstrike by the United States government in Afghanistan or anywhere else. The drones, balloons of the spying by China and the US, is that true? Was he followed by FBI, CIA? Was he on any type of list, government list, to be watched? Did they think he was talking? Did they track his phone? Did they bug his house and phone? Was this man delusional, PTSD, mentally ill, schizophrenic? And once again, why did he detonate, shoot himself in the head in that Tesla at the Trump Hotel? That's my commentary. See you later for live number 2, Sebastian Rogers. You will not want to miss that live stream. Thank you for your time. God bless you. Happy New Year. You have been listening to the Vault XL.